You're familiar with industries and niches. However, your multi-venture vision transcends that. And you need to understand what it is that you're here to have dominion over in order for you to move in alignment with your function and the vision that you're here to materialize. Hi, I'm Naomi Olotayo, and I guide founders, creators, visionaries, and multi-venture visions to align their brand universe and ecosystem with the vision that God has given them, and so that can activate their capacity to govern the realms that they've been called to govern. If this video activates you at all, and you recognize that I'm the person that you're meant to partner with to bring this multi-venture vision into full materialization, the first step begins with the internal reckoning, which we linked down below. The internal reckoning is my paid, thresholded decision-making chamber, I guess you can call it. It's a place where founders who already recognize me and are committed to their vision go to be able to be held, to receive discernment from me, and also just orientation, so we know exactly how to move forward, and also to gauge their capacity and their readiness to see if they're even a qualified fit for the kind of partnership, initiation, and strategy that I am hosting. So if this video really does affirm anything else for you, make sure you click the link down below so that we can move forward in the process of materializing your vision together as partners. Anyways, let's get into today's video. So if you have been watching any of my videos, then you probably have heard me speak in terms of realms and domains. And I wanted to make a specific video so that there's no confusion, because when you have been able to recognize yourself in the word governance, if you've gone through my multi-venture vision, founder, governance, archetypal system, then you already understand and know that governance and kingship or empireship, whatever it is, that's something that is within your jurisdiction and within your function. This video is going to ground you in understanding through vocabulary so that you know exactly what it is that you're building and what you're up against. So essentially, a realm is, maybe pause. I want to make sure I explain it very simply. A realm is essentially a kingdom. It is made up of several domains. You can use realm and kingdom interchangeably. A lot of Christians talk in terms of kingdom or the kingdom of God. What they are essentially saying is realm rulership, or aligning a realm in alignment with the principles of God. This kind of verbiage in terms of realm is important because it speaks to the weight of what you're here to do, governance. You're not here to shift industries. I know I speak in terms of you're here to shift industries and transform cultures. Those are just byproducts of realm rulership. So essentially, a realm is the whole piece of a pie. It is the largest sphere of governance that you can have jurisdiction over. So essentially, what each realm is created of is domains. All realms are created out of domains. Domains are the smaller subplots of a realm. Traditionally, you would hear people say things like, I own this niche, or I created this new lane in an industry. Essentially, a domain is the smaller piece of the larger kingdom. So if you have a whole kingdom, the lands or the towns or whatever would be what domains are. Now, to go back to what a realm is defined by an overarching body of thought, principle, and culture. I guess the easiest way to define a realm, or to give an example of, would be evangelicalism. I like using that as an example because it is defined by name, it's recognized by name, and it has expectations, principles, cultures, language, ideals, methodologies, frameworks, everything that everyone who is governed by that realm is submitted to. There are also leaders, and if you remember, or if you have watched my archetypal system video, then you know that you know the difference between the king, the queen, the high priestess, etc. In evangelicalism, there are all of that. You have the kings, you have the queens, you have the people, you have the high priestess, which is the nervous system and spine of the entire realm. Within evangelicalism, you have churches, you have political parties, you have businesses, you have communities, you have identities, all of which exist within this bubble and sphere of, I don't want to say influence, but just existence. People literally govern their identities, their brands, their businesses, everything according to the confinements of evangelicalism. And not only that, there are influencers or queens within it. There are people who make the culture that bring beauty, or however you would like to put it, into evangelicalism. When you walk into evangelicalism, there are hierarchies. There are people that you submit to. There are people who have more influence than the other. There are people who have been given authority to make decisions and influence what is received within that sphere. So if you take that as an example, that is the perfect way to understand what a realm is. The domains would be the churches. The domains would be the businesses. The domains would be maybe the praise dance sector or the different denominations within it, essentially. You know what I mean? It's a whole kingdom of itself, and it's functioning. And it may not be official on paper. It's not like I can say, oh, what is the kingdom of evangelicalism? It's just known and understood. Without understanding what it is that you're here to govern, you won't know what you're wielding. There are so many powerful people who have governance over domains and realms, but they steward it poorly because they lack integrity to hold it, or they lack understanding of what they're holding, or they just don't care. A great example is Diddy. Now, I've been using him as an example a lot, only because I just feel like he's just the prime example of what happens when someone fills in the role for governor when they may not have jurisdiction to. However, they understand how it works. He was very smart, and he understood how it works. But if you've watched a documentary, then it's a good example of a distorted version of what you are here to do. Founders who have jurisdiction to govern realms and domains are considered governors. I really want you to just understand that. If you're watching this video and you've resonated with my content so far, it's very likely that you are someone who has been called to govern. And if you haven't known by watching my other videos, to govern essentially is to set the standard and the tone of realms, which governs over domains. Another example of governance I would like to point out is capitalism. And I want to point that out specifically because currently we're living in the visions of unrightful governors who have shaped reality in a way that is extractive. Right now, what you are up against as a founder is really rewriting things like colonization. Colonization is governance by force. It's imposing their laws, their culture, identity, and principles upon another people group. The reason why I create these videos and the reason why there's so much reiteration is because I just want you to understand the importance of you understanding who you are and why your multi-venture vision is as big as it is. It's not because you're here to dominate trends and create them or whatever, or transform industries. You're here to be the standard and to live, and for us as a collective to live in your vision for millennia to come. Those who operate from governance are those with the jurisdiction to govern. The thing I want to make very clear is that you can relate to my videos. You might find yourself in my videos because we're all governed by something. That's just how the universe has been structured. We're governed by the laws of the earth, like gravity. We can't exist outside of gravity. It's integral to our own survival. We are governed by culture, the culture that has been created before us. And that's why I used the example of colonization. We are governed by the principles of colonization, even to this day, across the globe. The problem is that so many people, so many groups and leaders of the past and presently are able to weasel their way into positions of jurisdiction, even though they may not have the sole contract to operate under that kind of jurisdiction, because so many of us are asleep. So do you now understand why it's important to have the vocabulary of domains and realms? I may use the word founder because that's just easily understood, but I want you to understand that you are a governor and that you are here to rule and have jurisdiction and legislate over realms. Leaders are the ones who influence over domains, but you are here for realm rulership, and for some of you, multi-realm rulership, which is empireship. To maintain influence over realms, to become ruler of a realm, how do you do so? How do you step into your seat of governance over realms and influence all the domains that are within it, and by nature allowing the collective to live in your aligned vision that God has given you through your multi-venture vision? How do you do that? I'm glad you're here because I have pretty much dedicated everything that I do in terms of my one-on-one work for people like you. If you are wondering how to step into your seat of governance, if you are looking for articulation, architecture, and strategy for your multi-venture vision, and you felt activated, seen, or recognized through this video or other videos of mine, I would like you to click the link in the description box down below to cross over a threshold, which I call the internal reckoning. The internal reckoning is my paid discernment threshold, where I use my discernment and I used my awareness to recognize your readiness, your capacity, and your resourcefulness in terms of joining the process and initiation that I am facilitating. If you have already gotten the awareness and the confirmation that you're meant to partner with me, if this video sparked anything within you and you realize that I'm the only one that you have seen that has given you credence to who you are and put name to who you are, I would like you to cross that threshold that is linked in the description down below. That is the beginning of access to me and the beginning of any partnership that we could ever have together. Anyways, I thank you for this video. Don't forget to subscribe so you can receive more from me. And of course, check the description box down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.